Good morning, good morning. I hope that I am live now. Great, I can see some people. Good morning, hello. Yeah, that's much better now. Perfect. I was on my computer, but I couldn't, I think you couldn't see me, I couldn't hear you. So I'm just gonna wait as people come on. Please share this video. Please tag a friend. Please invite somebody to come and watch. Hello, my Eddie. Hi, Susan. Thank you for coming on. Please like and share. I'm just going to be back in 2 seconds. Good morning. Hello, everyone. Hey, my name is Rumbi, and I'm from the Tulia group. So I'm going to introduce myself as we're coming on. Please share, tag a friend, share the stream. And I just want to talk about the issues that I'm going to talk about only once. So it would be good if we could just share. So I want to talk a little bit just before I talk about migrating to the UK, working in the UK, about our organization, Tulia. Tulia, it's a Swahili word and it means to settle. In Shona kugarika, in Swahili Tulia, kunyatso kugarika. So what we do in the UK is we help migrants to settle. And to settle in a country, it's settling. First, it's papers, my immigration papers, but it's also settling holistically, settling with your family, relationships, jobs, the whole process, because it's a difficult process. So we are a community interest company. So what we do is we do some work which is private work. So we work with organizations, we work with sponsors, we sponsor people to come and work here. We work with other people who are here in relation to their immigration status, resolving their issues. So that's the work that we do here in the UK. And then we also do training, we do peer support, we have counselors who work with us. We help people as a whole person, not just the legal aspect, but we work with different partners in different ways. We help people who are in hospitals, who are homeless, and people who are stranded. We give advice for free. So for those people. So we do a combination of profit-making work where we charge for our services, and then we do work which is free for people who are destitute, who are desperate, who really need our help, who are referred by other organizations, churches, social services, other organizations refer people, and we support and help those people. One of the big things that we do as an organization is to give advice, to educate, to empower, and to restore. So those are our brand pillars. As a brand, we educate, empower, and restore. And we do that in a variety of ways. And one of those is doing such things like this live today, where we come on, we answer questions from people, we give information, we help people on a practical level with how to come and work in the UK, how to bring relatives to the UK, how to bring children to the UK. So one of the things that we've seen is we get so many messages in our inbox, we get messages in our DMs, we get WhatsApp messages from old clients, from people who've never worked with us. And people will be asking us, Kuti, Ndounza say hama dzangu, what can I do? How can I bring my children? How can I bring my relatives here? Or we have people who are living in South Africa, Dubai, Zimbabwe, who inbox and ask, what can I do to work in the UK? So we don't, right from the start, we don't look for jobs for people. We're not a recruiter. We are not a recruiter. We know recruiters, but we're not recruiters. And we don't look for jobs for people. So, but we know what we know how. And I think that's the most important thing that I want to share with you today is how. Because a lot of people will ask, Kuti, we are seeing people coming. We are seeing a lot of people, their children are coming, they've been separated for years, and their children are coming as carers. And we also want that, So people will ask questions to say, how can we do it? And there's lots of people who advertise, people are talking about it, but not everyone has received or seen that information. So that's why I'm doing this live today, to educate, to empower. We're not selling anything. I'm not recruiting. I'm not recruiting. We're not recruiters. I explain the work that we do, but we have valuable information, tips, links, information that can empower you and help you to be able to bring your relatives or for yourself. It depends on who you are, where you are, and what it is. And working in England, I love the post that Ivy did. So we'd planned to do this live before, and when I saw her post where she talked about the reality of life in England, she gave some tips, and I thought it was really good, and it was so spot on. And that's the reality. So even in applying, so someone will say, okay, you're talking about that I can come to work in England, I can become a carer, I can live my best life, and I want that, but how? How do I do it? What do I do? And so those are some of the many questions that we've had. And so that's what I'm going to be chatting about today. Welcome, Ivy. Welcome, Phyllis, Harriet. So many people. Thank you. Share, please, and tag a friend. One thing I want to say is that I want to say a lot of things. Why do I keep saying one thing? Because it's not one thing, it's lots of things. But anyway, I don't want to just talk about carers, because in our inboxes we get so many different careers and professions. But carers, so now the issue about carers is the one that has been hot and the one where many people are coming. So coming to the UK as a skilled worker, it's always been there. It's not something new. It's something that has always been there. But what's happened now with Brexit is that the people who used to come who were low skilled. So migration for employment has always been there for higher skilled people, maybe accountants, doctors, nurses, people with social workers, those skills. There's been a lot of recruitment in those areas. But in the lower skills, so like carers, there hasn't been that much recruitment. And with Brexit, it opened up the door to the whole world. So these jobs had been taken by people from the EU, and they're the ones who had so they are the ones who were working in these fields. But now it's opened up to people from all over the world. And the advantage that people from Zimbabwe, from Malawi, from South Africa, from many African countries, especially former British colonies, is that English is not a problem. But for some people, English is a problem. So even with these jobs, they can't do them. So there's an advantage for people who are coming who can speak English. And in just before Christmas, the government announced that they were adding social care workers to the health and care visa and shortage occupation list. And this change is coming about this year. And the Home Office have said it's a temporary measure for 12 months, and then after that they'll see. So care assistants, care workers, home care supporters, support workers, all of these now can come. in the shortage. So being on the shortage occupation list is an advantage. And that is the advantage that's there. So what's the shortage occupation list? I think I want to start there. This talk is not about the law. It's about just practical steps in terms of what you can do. So not everybody wants to come as a care assistant, but some people do. Some people want to come here as engineers. We've had some people who've inboxed about engineering jobs. Some people are nurses. Some people are pharmacists, doctors, social workers, accountants, teachers, maths teachers, physics teachers, actuarians, all of those. There's so many jobs on the shortage occupation list. And there's a link there that Farhana has put in, which is the list of shortage occupations, paramedics, so many jobs on there. So all of those are jobs that I wanted. So it's not only for carers, it's for different people. And the doors are open. The time is now. The opportunity is there for you to take it for yourself. So there's no limit, because before there would be a limit to maybe only nurses, only social workers, only accountants. But now, because carers can come as well and can be sponsored, it's opened up the doors. And in this country, a lot of people don't like doing that type of work, like care, like the people who live here, the natives of this country. But for us foreigners, I think most foreigners who came here, that's how we all started. That's how we all started. I remember coming to England many years ago, coming fresh from having practiced in Zimbabwe, graduated from UZ, and I didn't think, why should I be a carer? I'm a lawyer, and I had all those attitudes in my head. But I did it because I needed to survive, and I learned skills that I have skills forever. Those are skills that are valuable to me. They're transferable. Being a carer takes patience. It takes compassion. It's not easy. And it's not easy doing that when you've never done it. But it's an opportunity to change your life. It's a means. It's not just a means to an end. It can actually just bring about in you something that has been dormant, that you love caring for people. And I think it's a beautiful gift to give anyone to care. So the fact that carers can come in and they can transform their lives as well as transforming the lives of the people they're looking after, it's a wonderful opportunity. But for every person who wants to come, so the advice I'm giving today for those who are joining is general. It's not for a specific profession, a specific person. It's for anyone in whatever category. The first thing I want to encourage everyone to do is, for whatever, in life, you make a plan, right? So you make a plan because you've got a plan, you've got a purpose, what you want to do. So even when you're setting your plan to say, I want to migrate to the UK, give yourself 12 to 18 months, even up to 2 years for your plan to work. There's no, if it feels too good to be true, when someone says tomorrow, it might be too good to be true. If it seems too good to be true, it usually is too good to be true. So you make a plan. So you look at, what profession are you wanting to come into? Are you coming as a carer? Are you coming as a doctor, a nurse? What is it? What is your profession? And what is it that you want to come and do? Then you find out the requirements. I can't give the requirements on this live for every single profession, but you can find those requirements. They are there on this wonderful thing called the internet. The requirements are there. They're shared on WhatsApp. You can Google. You can find out what English test you need, what experience you need, what qualifications you need. Once you've found out what you need in your plan, then you get your things in order. You get your things in order. If you're supposed to go and do a Red Cross training, you go and do a Red Cross training. But if you're a qualified nurse with years of experience of working in care, if you're an auxiliary nurse in a hospital in in Harare or in Bulawayo or in Joburg, you know, like in Zimbabwe, the nurses who used to wear pink, the auxiliary nurses, if you're one of those people, you already have all the skills that you need. You've got the qualifications, you've got the experience. So it's now putting that in order and saying, okay, do I have the basics? Do I have the basics? Search for the basics. Go to internet cafes, go on social media, search for those. There's groups where people are giving out information. Information is widely available about the requirements. If you've got a degree in a certain field, you need to get your degree checked with UK NARIC to see what is how it matches to a UK qualification. So get your degree certificate sorted at UK NARIC. Do the groundwork, as much legwork as you can do for whatever profession you have. The doors are open. This country needs people. It's not going to stop tomorrow. So the better if you start today, you can make your plans and make your plans with a goal in mind that, you know, next year, 2023, I'm going to go and this is what I've got to do. So, and it's no one is discriminated. It's not only those with degrees, because there's a wide spectrum of jobs that are available. So when you see, okay, is my job on that list of shortage occupations? That's the best place to start. In the comments, I know somebody, Farhan, has put a link there for the shortage occupation list. Open it, read it, and see which areas are short. Once you've seen it, you might be somebody who's thinking, someone was asking me and they said a question in the inbox that my relatives in Zimbabwe they've said I can do any course they're willing to pay. And I said, that's so good. You know, you've got people who are willing to pay. So you can get your, you can go onto that shortage list and look at the areas where there's shortages. Nurses, there's always shortages, you know, as long as I can remember. There's been a lot of shortages, nurses. Maths teachers, physics teachers, there's shortages. Actuaries, accountants, doctors, social workers. So if you see that, okay, there's a profession there, let me study in that profession because that will make me marketable. Let me study, let me get the experience, and then I know. So your plan might be a 4-5 year plan because you're going to school first. Because you're saying, I don't want to be a carer. Fair enough. You don't have to be. No one is forcing anyone, right? But you might think, okay, I'll come as a carer, but after 5 years, when I've got indefinite, I can then, once I've got my indefinite leave to remain, I can go to school and do what I've always dreamed of doing and be an account, whatever you are dreaming of doing. Once you've got your indefinite leave to remain, the world is open to you and you can do so many things. So sometimes you might say, okay, I'll do this. Even you might be qualified in another field and come and work as a carer. It doesn't matter because you know your aims and your goals and what you want to do. Then once you've got your papers in order, so if you sign up to our newsletter, I think Farhan is going to put a link there. We're going to send out just links and general information about some of the categories and what's needed and the requirements, so that you can have it on hand. And we've got some information that's easy to share for people who might not be able to search the internet. So we've got that information. We're going to share it. It's there for you. And then next, we're going to be, once you've got your qualifications in order, depending on what you want to do, the next thing is to find an employer. Now, maybe that's the hard part, right? I think that's maybe the part that's challenging for most people, because many of the messages that we get, people are saying, how do I get an employer? How do I get a job? Find me a job. It's not easy to find a job. It's not easy to find a job, and it's competitive, because when you putting it in context, you are not just, you're competing with the whole world. Because I don't know if you guys have seen it in the news that there are people who come here to the UK on a boat, all the way from Africa. They cross the English Channel in winter on a boat to get here. They're fleeing persecution. Others are fleeing all sorts of things. But there are others as well who don't come on boats, but who want to come for economic reasons, because they're not asylum seekers, but they're coming for economic reasons. So the competition to get here onto this, to work here, because of the benefits, of working here, of getting the pound, there's so many benefits to working and living in the UK. And some of them, you'll see them on Ivy Mango's post that she put. There's so many. But you're competing with the whole world. So you have to be in that mode that you're competing with the whole world. So it's competitive. It's not going to be easy. There's two ways. There's the easy way, which is if you know someone everywhere in life, recruiter, then it's easy, isn't it? If you know someone, or if your relative knows someone, or if they know someone who knows someone, then that's one way which is very easy, especially for social care jobs, because there are many Zimbabweans and South Africans, Malawians, Kenyans, people from India, people from Bangladesh, Nigeria, who own care agencies, care homes, recruitment agencies, and those people are actively recruiting. So sometimes if you know someone, if someone can put a word in for you, it's easy, isn't it? But not everyone knows someone. Not everyone has that privilege. Not everyone. I remember somebody complaining and saying, in Shona, they said, they're only bringing people that they know and their friends. And I think that's fair enough sometimes, because next door. So people will they will do what they have to do. And so that's the reality. So if you know someone, wonderful. But if you don't, then there's the hard way, or the other way. But you can still do it, because it's not impossible. It's just that it's a bit harder. And that's where your perseverance comes in. That's where your being a person who is tenacious comes in. I want to tell you a story before I just go on to that. When I came here, I had my law degree and my experience from Zim, and I could not find a job in law. So initially I did care work, I worked in the factories, and then one day I was counting little nails in a shop, in a factory. And I thought I was going to go mad, because for 8 hours I was just counting nails and putting them there and counting. And I was counting these nails, tears just streaming down my eyes, because I was so frustrated. I was so angry. I was just thinking, I just want to get on a plane and go back to Zimbabwe. But the people around me didn't allow me to do that. Thank God for that, because they helped me to stick at it. Then I started applying for jobs with law firms. I applied for almost 300 jobs. And I used to use that Yellow Pages. There was no internet then. There was Yellow Pages. I don't know if anyone remembers Yellow Pages. It was thick like this, Yellow Pages. And I went through that Yellow Pages, underlining and writing letters, putting them in envelopes and sending to every single law firm in the West Midlands. And I applied. And every day I would get regrets. The postman, those days, the regrets didn't come by email, they came by post. They would put them in my posts, and people would say, what letters? And they would say, Marigreta Rumbi, because I used to get regret after regret after regret, but I never gave up. And eventually I got a job. Eventually I then moved, and things worked, but it was persevering and it was going through. So if you are determined that I want to work in England, there is no one who is going to come and give it to you on a silver platter, unless you know someone, right? Yeah. So I'm talking to people who don't know someone. You can do it yourself, but what you need to do, there is a list which I think Farhana has put in the chat, which is a list of registered sponsors. And it's a long list. I think just the A's come up to 1,000 entries in there. So when you go onto that link, at the bottom, it says download, so that you can get the whole list. It's a long list. You know, I spoke to one recruiter who said she recruited someone who is really good and she really likes them, and, you know, they've come from Zim, and and I said, how did they find you? She said, they found me on the list. And they applied. And I was impressed with their what can I say? What do you call it? I don't know. She was impressed by them. So she recruited them. They're here, they're working. So it works. But what you must do is go through that list and look for social care, nursing home. You know, there are loads. There are loads. But if you decide, I'm going to do this, then you can. And then you go to the website. You look for vacancies. Just be tenacious. Give yourself time. And go through and find and send in your CV. You do one letter, one CV, and you send to those if you're looking for carer jobs. These are people who don't know someone, right? And you apply. Go on LinkedIn. Go on LinkedIn and follow people who are in recruitment for social care. Spread your net wide. Spread it wide. If you are searching in one area, or you're just following one or two people and you're not getting the job, then you cast it to the other side, your net, and you spread it wide. Because when you spread your net wide and you go into the deeper waters, then you will get results. You keep doing it. There's nobody who can make it happen like that unless you're paying for it, unless you are, you know. So here we've got a list. Thank you so much, Rumbi Madzima. She's just put in the chat a whole list from the A's. So you can do that. You can say, you know what, each week I'm going to do 100. Next week, another 50. The next week, another, how many ever, another. And you just, you persevere and you go through it. And you send in your applications. If you need help, there's so many people who are willing to help, to get your CV in order, to get your letter. In Yango, I can't do that. But there are lots of people I know who can. I don't have the capacity to do it. And I would love to, but I can't. And I can't look for jobs for people either. Because look at that. Look, it's a long, long process. So if you get your CV, your letter, ask someone, can you help me to just check through this? You might find someone who can do it. And then you send in. There are others who are actively recruiting. I share on my page. Every time I see an advert, I just share. I don't do due diligence myself because I can't do due diligence for you. But what you can do is then if you see an advert, go onto that register. See, one, are they a sponsor? Do they have a license? Two, are they registered with CQC? Check them out yourself. Do your own due diligence. If you see us just sending adverts, I won't have checked. I'm just thinking, oh, there's an opportunity for somebody. I advertise. Check for reviews. These days, people do reviews on employers. They review them on Indeed. They review them. Do your due diligence and check out the employer and send out your applications. If you are a nurse, nurses, they are being looked for everywhere. You know, they're really in demand. So nurses don't have to struggle. Once you've passed your English, you've got your papers in order, nurses, jobs galore. Pharmacists, engineers, social workers, accountants, actuarian, other professions, look for specialist recruitment agencies. Specialist recruitment agencies. Go on to LinkedIn, look for specialist recruiters. Google specialist recruitment for engineers, specialist recruitment on social workers, specialist recruitment for drivers, Alvin. Search for the specialist recruitment agencies or companies that are looking. And then send them your CV. Send them your information. Position yourself in a place where you can receive. You have to position yourself strategically and search. The world is your oyster. If you've got family who are here, and maybe if you're in Zim and you're struggling with data, with internet connectivity, that maybe it's not as fast as it is here. If you've got university relatives, Hamadziruku Uni, or young people, say to them, can you search for this for me? Can you help me with this? I just need, when it's specific, I know that people will be really willing to help. Look on LinkedIn for engineers. If you're an engineer, look for other engineers. Ask them which recruitment agencies are recruiting. If you're a pharmacist, look for other pharmacists, especially on places like LinkedIn, and ask for that information, and you can get them. Google is your friend. Google is your friend. If you go onto Google and you put international recruitment agencies for specialist international recruitment for drivers, and you search through them, you go through each website, you go through, it takes time. It takes time. There isn't anything that is easy. There isn't anything that is easy. And I believe that many of the people who are coming are younger generations than us. So there's young people who are now coming, and you guys know how to navigate the internet. You know how to navigate these things. So it's using those skills, the same skills that you have on when you're, utilizing social media. It's the same skills that you have to use to be able to go on to these websites and search on Google, search for organizations that are helping you. There's a lot of people who are advertising for health and social care jobs. So those ones might be easier to find. But the other specialists, even teachers, there's specialist recruitment for teachers. So look for Overseas Recruitment UK for teachers, and you'll be able to find agencies. And on there, they have the full lists of what is required and what you need. I have talked and talked and talked. Yeah? So search. Get your things in order. Know your plan. So in summary, know your plan. What is it that you want to do? I'm sorry, this is not a live where I'm just coming and saying, guys, I've got jobs, come. No. It's giving you tools to help yourself. Because I don't want to lie to you. I cannot respond to so many messages of people saying, find me a job. I can't do it because I have to survive as a person myself. I have to make a living. I have to earn, I have to do what brings food for me. And I can't search for jobs for people. But you can when you've got the tools. And we have a newsletter where we're going to summarize, send you an email, summarizing some of the information that we've given here so that you can then use that. And we can keep encouraging each other. We need to encourage each other because when somebody is uplifted in your family, or they're able to get a job, they're able to look after themselves, we can play it forward. You're then able to help the next person and help the next person. And the opportunities here are good. So it's worth it. It's not easy, but it's worth it. And it's possible because there are people who have come here looking on that sponsorship list and applying, and they've been able to come. And you know what that shows an employer is that you are resourceful, you are resilient, you're innovative. And those are skills that any employer will value. So when you are able to strategically put yourself in that position and be resourceful, you can end up changing your own life. This country, the UK, it's a good country. It's a good country. I don't want to lie. And the only thing I miss is the sunshine and family, people. But I've got I've got my family here. I've got my own kids. I've got my in-laws. I've got family. So it's okay. You are where you are, and you can travel home and see your other siblings and your parents and things like that. But it gives you so many opportunities. And so it's good. So get your plan in order. Get your, know what qualifications you need. Then look for employers and then keep doing it and don't stop. Don't stop. Even if you get rejected, it doesn't matter. You just keep going and you keep going. I I'm going to answer some questions because I had some questions. If you've got any questions in the chat, or indeed any information that you think will help somebody else, please share it in the chat. Share it. Information is free to give each other and to help each other. And that's what our Friday lives are, to give free information, realistic and useful advice. Thank you, Petronella. It's no one can promise you things for like quickly, like, you know, but you can do it as long as you've got a strategy in place and you keep going. Somebody's asked, Tino Tender. I like your name. How you've played on your name, Tino Tender. So you've asked a question. Transitioning from student status to sponsored employment. Now that is an area where many employers are actively searching for people in that area. So if you are on a tier 4 visa here, on a student visa, and you're studying, you finish your studies, you can switch from tier 4 to a skilled worker. You can switch from a tier 4 student to a skilled worker. Even if you haven't finished, you can still, you know, if you're on a tier 4 visa, you can switch. And a lot of employers are looking for people on student visas. I've seen quite a lot of adverts, and I'll stick some in the chat as well. There's some, there are really good adverts there for people who are actively looking for students, because some of the students will have gained experience during the times when they're working, and also they're already here. So it's much quicker, it's easier to do it. And so a lot of employers are looking for students who are here. So if you're studying in the UK and you are looking for a job in health and social care, or indeed in any other field, you can come. So farming jobs. I hope, Tino Tender, that answers your question. Because what you just need to get is your certificate of sponsorship. If the employer's got a license, you get your course, they're able to apply for you to switch from student to skilled worker. And then you know that after 5 years, you know, you can apply for your settlement. You can carry on studying if you like, part-time whilst you're working. So that really makes a difference. So pose any questions, I'm here to answer. Maita Warner says, please comment on farming jobs. I might have missed this. So with the farming jobs, there was an advert for farming jobs, and I shared it on my page, but that website crashed. You know, I think so many people applied on that website, honestly. I had to even remove the link from my page, because now people were asking me, what's happened to the website? And I said, I don't know what's happened to that website. It crashed. So there was a government website, and they were recruiting for farmers, for people in the farming jobs, and they were saying they're taking from overseas, but it crashed. So I know traditionally, like farm workers or seasonal workers, they would only get like a 12-month visa. They come in, they work for the season, then they want them to go back. But the problem with like many of the European workers, they just don't want to come here for 12 months. They would rather come for longer. So it's not one that would most likely lead to settlement. So it's so that was the challenge. But then there's farm workers, managers, other skilled workers, not like people who come and pick the like strawberries, or they're those seasonal workers. But then there's those who come like people. I know someone asked me who had crop science, and they were advertising for those jobs, or somebody who had animal science. So those are different jobs. And again, it's the same formula for every single field, in the sense that you check your qualifications, that you check them with UK NARIC, you know that you qualify, you've got the English, yeah? And then you look for specialist recruitment agencies which deal with farming. And once you get those, you're then able to what? To show, to get the jobs. So yeah, it's the same for everything. You know, you can Google them, specialist agencies on farming, and we'll put that in the newsletter. Sign up to it. The link's in the chat, and we can, if we see any jobs, please look out. I will share. Most of the sharing will be on my page, but yeah. Oh, Rumbi Madzima, you've got a lot of information. Thank you so much, because you've just shared this really valuable tip that you might not have funds to pay for your care certificate. You can do the Care certificate, the one with 15 standards. It's CQC compliant, and it's only £10, and you can immediately get your certificate after each standard. That's really useful. I didn't know that. So Rumbi, if you could perhaps share a link to that, that would be really good, so people can see the website. Thank you for that information. That's great. Nontando's asked, can I get a sponsor in the UK who can sponsor my journey from doing the IELTS, the ticket, the visa, and then reimburse them when I get there and start working? You probably can. You probably can. But a lot of employers, they want to see your commitment to the process as well, because they want to see your commitment to the process. So some will say, get your certificate, your English, but others will say, okay, we can pay for the ticket, we'll pay for the visa, and they work it out with you. Even accommodation, a lot of the sponsors, they pay for your accommodation and then you pay them back. And it's good for you. What I want to say to people who get those offers, good offers, right? They're great offers. The thing is, just read the fine print. Read the fine print, because they might be lending you the money at an interest rate. If you leave them after a short period of time, they might demand all the money in full. And so it's really important to really understand, to say, okay, what are the terms? Understand the terms and know the terms, and then stick to your, because I've seen people now saying, hey, these people, they're charging us too much for this, they're doing this, they're doing this. So I think it's better, before you sign anything or agree on anything, to be fair to the employers and to be fair to you. Taurirana is straight, so that you know exactly what's happening, understand what you're signing up for, and they're doing you a favor in terms of paying everything up front. Because you know, when you're running a business, especially for small to medium, this is, we run a small business that does supported accommodation. So I know that, well, maybe other businesses have got a lot of cash, right? But a lot of business is sometimes cash flow. Sometimes your invoices are paid late. Sometimes something happens and, you know, you're reinvesting into the business. So when you're saying to someone, I'll pay your ticket, pay your accommodation for 3 months, pay this, you're taking your cash to invest in you. You're taking it from somewhere else. And for small businesses, that can be quite difficult. And then when the person comes and then says, they're saying they want their money and they're saying this and all that, then it's not fair on the small business, especially small to medium-sized businesses. Bigger businesses can probably take the hit, but I would say you can definitely get a sponsor who can pay for that. There are quite a few, and they'll be able to do that for you. And notaurana, sign, make sure you read everything, sign, agree. And then if anything goes wrong, you know, they can demand the money straight up, or they can end up suing you with interest on top. So, yeah. Right. So, Amai D, she says, suppose I'm a newly qualified social worker. Is it wise to do a nurse aid and come there as a care worker? Or I can just come as a skilled worker? So what I would say to you as a social worker, somebody asked me this question as well. They were a nurse. Who hadn't passed the English. So if you're a newly qualified social worker, try and get experience as a social worker, so that you can then register with the regulatory body for social workers, the HCPC, I think. Yeah, try and then register with that body, see what their requirements are, meet those requirements, and then apply for a job as a social worker, rather than coming as a care nurse aide and then going to do the Red Cross as a nurse aide. I think it's better for you to just come here as a social worker. So spend a year getting the experience, putting your things in order, and then come. Kumanya akuzikushika. So that's a Shona proverb that means running fast doesn't mean you arrive. Oh gosh, that's a wrong translation. But anyway, kumanya akuzi kushika. So sometimes there's this fear of, the FOMO, fear of missing out. So there's a frenzy about Red Cross and Nurse Aid and eating. So everybody now wants to do that. But it might not be the best thing for you, because you are already in a position that is better, because you've got a social work degree. So now it's finding out, okay, what do I need for social work? What do I need to do? And then doing it, even if it takes you an extra 18 months. I don't think the shortage of social workers is going to come down anytime soon. It's going to be there. So there's no missing out. So taking that time and strategically positioning yourself, you come as a social worker, and then you get that experience. If you're not confident about it, if you're scared, I know there's a lady, her name is Betty Makoni. Many people know her, and she runs a support group for social workers. There's another lady as well who runs another group for social workers in the UK as well, and they work together. And I think they sometimes have workshops, they have all these things, another lady as well. So those are people you can ask as well, because they actually actively talk about it, about the support they give to foreign social workers. I know Betty does it a lot, and there's another lady called Hilda as well. They've got an organization for social workers, for Black social workers. Find out from them what you need, what you can do. Even if you're experienced for a year, if you can get experience in Zim or in another country or a job, and then find out from them what you need. I know they always seem to be quite happy to help people, and then you find out what to do to come as a social worker. I would encourage you to do that, and to get peer support from other people in the same profession as you, and then that will help you to come in a better position. Yeah. Notando, great. So if you can listen to I think you probably came late, just listen in and see. There's some information as well on the caregivers. There's a link. Sign up to the newsletter, and we'll send an email out with more information for specific careers and information that you can read that can help you. It's important to be able to just read, absorb, get the knowledge, get the information that you need, so that you are equipped and empowered to do it yourself. If these companies or agencies that say they offer free tickets, free accommodation, find your job rather than in UK or England, are they genuine? Do you know people who've gone through these and didn't have problems? So, Sandra, that's a really good question. And what I want to say about that is, human trafficking is real. Yeah? Human trafficking is real. Modern day slavery is real. So you will find some people who are advertising for you to go to many other countries. We've heard of girls who got stuck in Kuwait, was it? Or in the Middle East, Zimbabwean girls at one stage. There is a lot of people who advertise and promise to give you the world. Everything is free. But I want to remind you that there's nothing that's free in this world. There's nothing for free. You pay something. And when you see those adverts where everything is free, put a question mark. Because it may be that what they're doing is taking people to come and work as domestic servitude, where you're not going to be paid, where you're going to be just really treated badly, or you are going to work in prostitution. Sexual exploitation is rife all over the world, and people will target people who are desperate. They will target people in third world countries. They will come and hunt for people in those areas to use them to make money for themselves. So that question you asked, Sandra, is very important. And I think it's always good to check out, go on their websites, check out for reviews. Even I would be happy to check out people for, when you see things like that, send them to me. For those things, I can just check and see the legitimacy of it. I know some of my relatives have had things and we think, this sounds a bit dodgy. And sometimes if something just sounds a bit dodgy, it probably is dodgy. But most of the people who advertise for the UK, you know the process. You know that you go and you apply for a visa at FedEx. You know you've got to pass your English. You can check them out on the websites that we've put up. You can check if they're on the register of sponsors. You can check to see if they're registered with the CQC. You know, you can actually make your own checks and see. You can ask if you've got relatives here. You can ask on social media. Information is readily available. Even for those that you see, you know, there's a website for scams. If you see something and it looks like a scam, check it out and say scams alert and put the name. They'll come and you'll find them. So there's so many people who are trying to, it's so easy to make money by promising people lies, you know. And sometimes I think, because, you know, if you want to create lies to people and say to them, I can send you to Canada, I can send you to anywhere, free, but just pay me this. You know, some people will say free here, but pay a fee of £1,000 or something. Easy to do that, you know. So always check your own due diligence yourself. Check and make sure. So thanks for that question, Sandra. Right, I'm gonna do Ndana's, and then I am Louise. Ndana asked, can you come as a visitor and apply for carer work when you're in the UK? No, you can't switch. Well, you can apply, but you wouldn't be able to switch your visa from a visitor to a skilled worker. You'd have to go back and apply from Zimbabwe. I am Louise. You've asked, do those registering for English or TB tests need to have a prospective employer? If you note, say, employer A for your test, then submit a course application. So you can do your English test without an employer. Yeah. You can also do your TB test without an employer. Your TB test, though, lasts for 6 months. So if you don't have an employer, I think it's best to do your TB test when you're going to apply for your visa. But register for your English before. You can prepare and do that. But the TB test is the one that you should do just when you're about to apply for your visa, because it has a time limit. So Notando, the list is up in the chat. We'll put another link for the, we'll put one in the comments, a link for this, for the, Fahana, could you put a link for the register of sponsors? Put another one. Oh, it's high up. Yeah, we'll put another one for you. That's great. Rumbi has said she's made a comment. Some agencies are charging ridiculous. I've left out where she said especially a certain nationality are charging ridiculous exorbitant fees for courses and their services. If you're patient enough, send out emails to sponsors on the list, gather the documents needed. Yes, yeah, God willing, unowana. Don't be too desperate. So team Ombe, you know, some people, if you want things quick, you know, sometimes you do, but that's good advice, Rumbi, very good advice. Great. I think I've answered a lot of questions. I've been here for a while. Please listen to the video from the start, and also could you share and send me suggestions for other topics that you like to cover. If you would like us to cover specific areas, like specific professions or things like that, that's fine. Every Friday we have Immigration Friday, so we're here to answer questions, to talk about issues, and to give you up-to-date information that you want to hear. So we're not selling you anything. We are here to share information. And at the beginning I talked about the work that Tulia does, and part of our work is educate, because one of the things we want to avoid is a question that was asked before. We deal with victims of human trafficking, and we don't want people to get into that position. So it's better to be able to have the knowledge and the power. And we don't want people from, when I came to England, I didn't know anything. It was just, it was interesting. Everybody who has come here in our generation has got a story. So we want to share our stories and give you information so that you guys don't have to go through what we went through. And coming here on a skilled worker visa is amazing. One of the jobs that we do is we help people who are overstayers here to get my paper. And people will have stayed in England 20 years, vasina my paper. And after 20 years, they're given 2.5 years. But you guys who are coming with this information, 5 years, you've got your indefinite leave to remain. So you're coming with an advantage. You're coming being able to work, being able to travel, being able to do everything that you want to do, So you can come with your children, you can come with your spouses. Yet for many people who came in our ages, one person would come, vanavaka Sara, my spouses were left behind. It caused a lot of damage. And that's part of the work that we do at Tulia, is helping to restore. Because migration can cause so many problems. And that's what we do. That's why I do a work that is different, not just being a lawyer only, but working with the whole person. That's why you might see, how come they do a recovery from divorce? Why do they do this? Why do they do that? Because we deal with the legal side is one side, but then we deal with the whole person, because migration, the impact of migration has been terrible. So people who are coming now from South Africa, Malawi, Zimbabwe, Nigeria, they're in a better position because you're coming with the knowledge. You're not just getting on a plane and coming and hoping for the best. When we tell our story to my son, we're saying, when we came to England, we only had this and we didn't know where we were going to live. And, my son laughed at me. She goes, Mama and Daddy, you guys, Mom's now kurongeka. You are not very organized. How can you just go to another country and not know where you're going to stay, where you're going to live? We didn't have a plan, but we made it work. So you guys can come with a plan. You're actually in a much better position. So yes, I think I've answered most of the questions, some of the questions from my inbox. Please listen. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a wonderful day. I have got to get to work now. And thank you so much. Be blessed. Have a wonderful day and have a wonderful weekend. Take care. Bye. I'll answer some of the other questions in the chat. Take care. Bye-bye.